Here is a simple yet powerful technique that I'd like to share with you, and that I experienced this morning in our first group coaching call for the change makers, the MetaHelm change makers. So just for context, the MetaHelm change makers is the group program that I launched just a few weeks ago, and we meet every Thursday at 9 a.m. as a group to discuss our businesses and find answers and solutions to how to grow narrative power for our businesses so that we have more impact and we build businesses that are more financially viable, just for context. And so in this group, we are here to learn together, to grow together. And the simple technique that I showed to the group this morning is to not jump into solutioning immediately as soon as we hear someone ask us a question. In the group, people can, before the call, submit questions on the Changemakers forum or come with a question and request the assistance of the group. And we are all consultants, coaches, professional services providers. And our immediate temptation is to jump into solutions because that's how we're wired. We are creative problem solvers. We are pleasers, we are caregivers in a way also, and we want to help immediately with answering to somebody's questions. But in my experience, I found that sometimes the best way to help someone is to ask more questions and use your curiosity to steer the person towards a direction where maybe they don't see something that you see. There is a blind spot. They missed an element that is blocking their narrative. So responding to a question with another question is a very common coaching practice that is, and it's actually a very simple practice, yet very hard because we have this reflex. So here is how it goes. Say someone asks you, and actually this was one of the questions in the group this morning. Well, I am wondering how I should evolve my product offering. It feels overwhelming to me to have to think about new things I would put in place to serve more clients. Where should I start? And instead of saying, oh yeah, well, I've got some ideas, you should do XYZ. And, in my business, I've done this and this works really well. And actually overwhelm the person even more. What you do instead is that first of all, you listen very carefully and you navigate towards where your curiosity is taking you. And you say, well, and you start your response only with a sentence that will start with, I wonder if, I wonder why, I wonder what, I wonder how, depending on what you want to ask. But the rule of this game is to only and always respond with something that starts with, I wonder. I got to tell you, it's a simple game, simple rule, but as I said, it's not easy. And despite the simple rule, most people in the group still, started with something else or were tempted to say something. It's like it's so ingrained, even at a cellular level, a spiritual, emotional, cellular, mental, and cellular level in our bodies as professional service providers that we want to do this. But if you do this, what happens is that you let the other person talk through a bit of an exploration. Maybe they don't have an answer to your question and they can table it and think about it later. Or maybe they have an answer that helps them see something they didn't consider before, such as, I wonder why you want to expand your services. That's a good question. In fact, let me explain. So now I'm role playing a bit here, but this person would say, well, in fact, that's a good question. And here is the reason why I want to expand my services, because I need more money, say. But as I say this, I realize that I could think about another solution. So already the thinking has evolved. The beauty of this technique is that it's an effortless way to help someone evolve their narrative, right? By spurring more of the current narrative by letting the person talk and explore herself or himself or themselves through questioning, through the power of questions. We let the person effortlessly and organically evolve their narrative. We can guide them just like you would nudge a ball gently and trusting that the ball will find its course through the law of physics. The same thing happened in this conversation. You just nudge the person gently, thanks to the power of curiosity, and you let the existence of this person, you let this person's energy, you let this person's brain decide where it should go next. So I hope this helps. Remember, think about the power of questions before you dive into answers. Just to close here on a practical note, you can do this with a group and do this for a few minutes. Maybe, you know, give a time frame and say, hey, we're going to listen to this person. Or you can do it with a friend as well. It doesn't have to be with a group, by the way. It just could be one-on-one. And what you do is that you do this for a moment and say, hey, we're gonna agree that the rule is going to be that for, say, the next 5 minutes, the only thing we can respond with is another question. So maybe say 5 or 10 or 15, depending on how much time you have. This is a great leadership technique. It teaches you to lead with listening and curiosity and inquiry and being inquisitive and exploring gently and naturally instead of forcing solutions that could have worked for you but may not work for the other person. So I encourage you to test it. It's a simple technique. Start with I wonder ... simple technique. Yet I would be interested to hear more, and please feel free to comment and like and get back to me with how it worked for you. But in my group, in the MetaHelm Changemaker group this morning, it worked wonders. It just worked beautifully. People were so open and gleaned so much insight from their answers and the kind of questions that people were asking them. All right, I hope this helps, and I welcome and expect your comments soon on comment below here under this video, wherever you can. Thank you so much.